o'clock. ABC 10 News at 5 starts right now.
San Diego police arresting the man they say shot and killed a Cathedral Catholic teacher and coach in broad daylight. How the two are connected. The county's latest vaccine superstation is now open to the public, giving San Diegans yet another option. Why some are still struggling to get an appointment. And there are growing concerns over that UK variant exploding in cases in just a matter of weeks.
ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
And good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson. I am joined remotely by my co-anchor Lindsay Pena. We're going to be checking in with her shortly. But first, an arrest today in the murder of a beloved Cathedral Catholic teacher and coach. But there are still many questions into why Mario Fierro was shot outside his North Park home. Our ABC 10 News reporter Melissa Macia has poured through court documents that might shed some light on this case. She just learned how the two may have known each other. Melissa.
And Steve, it is quiet outside here at Cathedral Catholic High School. The classes have been canceled. They beefed up security as they grieve the loss of Mario Fierro. Now, according to court documents, I learned that the suspected murderer and Mario were connected by the woman Mario was supposed to marry. A school community in mourning as those who knew and loved Mario Fierro wondered why anyone would target him. Mario's former classmate and friend told me Tuesday morning.
This was almost beyond belief. It was one of those things that it seemed so surreal, like it couldn't be possible.
Police say Mario was shot and died here in North Park Monday morning. Later that night, they arrested 30-year-old Jesse Alvarez, now in jail for first-degree murder. According to Cathedral Catholic's social media posts, Mario got engaged in December to another teacher at the school. Mario's current fiancée, who we are not naming, told a judge that Alvarez was stalking her. Alvarez was her ex-boyfriend. She filed for a domestic violence restraining order December 2019. It shows they dated for 3.5 years before breaking up. In her request, she said Alvarez engaged in a pattern of control, manipulation, and emotional abuse. She said after they broke up, his behavior became erratic and escalated over time. She named several instances where she said he wouldn't leave her alone, including finding her at Disneyland and following her. She changed the locks to her door, installed cameras. At one point, she said he attempted to break into her home. She filed a police report at that time. Court records show in the hearing for her restraining order January of last year, the judge dismissed the case. He wrote that she did not meet her burden of proof that abuse has occurred within the meaning of the Domestic Violence Protection Act. More than a year after that ruling, Mario Fierro, engaged to be married to Alvarez's ex-girlfriend, was killed. And Alvarez is set to make his first court appearance later on this month. The school set up a scholarship fund in Mario's name. That information is on our website, 10news.com. I'm Melissa Macia reporting live at Cathedral Catholic, ABC 10 News.
Now to the latest on the coronavirus in San Diego County. 10 new deaths were reported today, bringing our total to 2,629. And there were 926 new cases. This is the first time since November that we've had fewer than 1,000 cases in one day. While we continue to see a decline in cases across the country, we're seeing an uptick in the number involving the UK variant, which is said to be more contagious. As ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco explains, some experts worry this variant could undermine the recent progress.
Restaurants are back open for outdoor dining, salons are welcoming customers, and gyms are once again open outside. Just as life starts to look a bit more normal in San Diego, there is a new warning about COVID-19.
I think we're at a really critical period, and we need to be extremely cautious about reopening.
Natasha Martin is an infectious disease modeler with UCSD. She says the pandemic's next few months could be the hardest.
And we need to be able to quickly pivot and potentially, restrict our activities and increase our efforts at social distancing.
Martin is talking about the variant known as B117, or the UK variant. San Diego County has the highest number of cases in the state. Latest numbers show 122 confirmed cases, with another probable 46 for a total of 168. A man in his 70s died from the mutated strain of the virus last month.
But the question is whether we can reduce transmissibility and vaccinate enough people so that when this variant becomes the dominant strain, it will not lead to a surge that could potentially overwhelm our healthcare systems.
The variant is believed to be 50 to 70% more contagious. Martin says even though cases and hospitalizations are coming down, masks and social distancing are more important than ever. Otherwise, she says the county could see an explosion of cases, far worse than any previous surge.
What we've seen already in this epidemic is that when we get surges, the surges can come quickly and they can overwhelm our healthcare system.
Right now, the variant makes up about 5% of total cases, but Martin believes it will become the dominant strain in the county in a few weeks. Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
And the county will update the number of UK variant cases tomorrow. Right now, there are no known cases of the South African or Brazilian variants locally.
And you are taking a live look from the Grossmont Mall in La Mesa, where a fourth vaccine superstation opened just today. It's a walk-up site for people with appointments. As our ABC 10 News anchor Vanessa Van Hefty shows us, the process to get an appointment has been easy for some, but not for all.
Lines formed on day one of the vaccine superstation here at the Grossmont Center Mall. Congratulations! We were there when the doors opened, and hours later, the lines continued.
The way they're out running this right here is really good, really good. I can't even think of anything they could do to make it any better.
It's a walkthrough, but you still need an appointment.
Just get in line and zoom, 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 zoom. We went right through and that's it.
It seemed to be smooth sailing.
The worst part of this whole thing is sitting here trying to figure out which one of these fast food places I'm going to eat at here in the next 10 minutes.
The site here is expecting to vaccinate up to 2,000 a day through this Sunday. Sharp Healthcare says it gets shipments every Monday or Tuesday and will reforecast vaccine supplies at that point every week. It joins the super site in North County that opened Monday, as well as two others in Chula Vista and Petco Park. Still, many are having trouble.
The worst thing for me is sitting with my iPad for 3 hours and trying to get on, because by the time I'm off, I'm crying.
Even with now 4 superstations, there is still not enough supply. County Supervisor Nathan Fletcher says if you're not finding appointments, there are not enough doses.
We have more than 1 million San Diegans that are trying to get appointments when we only have a handful of vaccines. And so I'm frustrated there's not more vaccines available.
The county never knows in advance when it will be getting a shipment of vaccines, but these sites are ready to go as soon as more vaccines come in. So keep trying and be patient.
Glad to get this rolling and to try to do my part to put this thing behind us.
Vanessa Van Hefty, ABC 10 News.
The CEO of Scripps Health also told the Union Tribune that Scripps is ready and waiting to open and operate a 5th vaccination super site at the Del Mar Fairgrounds, but the county has yet to approve that. Now, in the meantime, the county will open another new vaccination superstation next week. It will be at the arena on the UC San Diego campus. No surprise, UC San Diego Health will oversee that site. They also operate the Petco Park superstation. This one will be indoors, so people will have to park and walk in. Like the others, that site will also be able to vaccinate up to 5,000 people each day once there are enough doses available. Appointments are required for those eligible to get the shot. The UCSD Superstation opens next Monday. As of yesterday, more than 277,000 people in San Diego County have been vaccinated for COVID-19, and more than 55,000 have been fully vaccinated, meaning they have received both shots. We know there are a lot of questions and different experiences with the vaccine rollout. Our ABC 10 News in-depth team is committed to tracking down answers and sharing your stories. Just send us an email to tips@10news.com.
The Biden administration will begin providing COVID vaccines directly to pharmacies. The government will initially ship about 1 million doses to some 6,500 pharmacies around the country starting next week. Meantime, the concern continues to grow over the coronavirus variants popping up across the U.S. Dr. Anthony Fauci says vaccinations need to be happening faster, and drug makers should be prepared to upgrade vaccines if necessary.
It is concerning because it much more evades the protective effect of antibodies that are induced by the vaccine. Not enough to make the vaccines not effective, but it makes them less effective.
The U.S. is seeing a 40% drop in cases with almost 8% of the population vaccinated, but deaths are still high. Meanwhile, President Biden is negotiating with Senate Republicans on a new coronavirus economic stimulus plan. There is agreement on more money for vaccines and testing, as well as small business aid. But there is a big difference on scope. Democrats want nearly $2 billion. Republicans offered around $6 million.
It makes no sense to pinch pennies when so many Americans are struggling.
The White House says they'll work without Republican support if they need to, but Republicans warn that will harm any hopes of working together in the future.
Democrat leaders in the House and Senate will have to consider is it worth working together, or are they going to set a precedent of just going through on their own?
Now, there is also no guarantee that all 50 Democrats will support President Biden's plan. And you can follow any developments surrounding the pandemic by downloading our free mobile app. Just go to the App Store and search 10 News.
Tonight, we are getting our first look at the arguments both sides will make at former President Trump's impeachment trial. ABC's Andrew Dymburt looks at the accusations Trump's lawyers say are irrelevant now that he's out of office.
The stage is set for the Senate impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump.
Donald John Trump engaged in high crimes and misdemeanors by inciting violence against the government of the United States.
Today, Democrats formally laying out their argument against Trump since transmitting their lone article of impeachment, incitement of insurrection, against him to the Senate. In an 80-page legal brief filed this afternoon, the Democratic House managers prosecuting the case depict the January 6th Capitol riot as Trump's last-ditch effort to overturn the 2020 election, stating this is not a routine corruption charge. Trump has committed an impeachable offense of historic proportions, adding, the evidence is clear. When other attempts to overturn the presidential election failed, former President Trump incited an attack on the Capitol.
Donald John Trump thus warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor.
But Trump's new legal team in their 14-page response saying the Senate lacks jurisdiction to remove from office a man who does not hold office. And one of his lawyers saying this to Fox News.
Can you imagine any American citizen considering it to be a trial in which the judge and jury has already announced publicly that the defendant must be convicted in this case?
Meanwhile, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez reflecting on the harrowing moments inside the Capitol the day of the attack during an Instagram live stream.
I mean, I thought I was going to die.
And one of those who did die, Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, will lie in honor at the very Capitol he gave his life defending. And Trump's legal team arguing that Trump's speech before the Capitol riot is protected under the First Amendment. Andrew Dymburt, ABC News, Washington.
Police need your help finding 4 men they say are responsible for robbing a Circle K last December. Officers released this video of the crime. They say the men went into the Circle K off Tierra Santa Boulevard, threatening the store clerk with a hammer. They can be seen demanding cash from the register and stuffing their backpacks with tobacco products before taking off. Police believe they're responsible for other thefts in the area. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers.